Before I start this lesson, I'm just going to say that there's a lot of information in this one lesson. You don't need to remember all of it because whenever I talk about a particular situation, I usually mention the modelling assumptions made in that particular example. However, here what we're going to do is give you a brief overview of many of the modelling assumptions made. So, we're going to look at some of the common models used and the assumptions that may go with them. The first one is that many of our objects we take to be particles. A particle basically has negligible dimensions, so no volume. Because of that, the mass of the object is concentrated at a single point, and rotational forces and air resistance can be ignored, although sometimes we just add air resistance in. So this might be a particle, but remember, that's much bigger than a particle. A particle is a single point. Forces that act on it would be its weight, and then at a later date we might decide if it's moving, say that's falling, we'll add in some air resistance. A rod. Essentially, a rod is a line or a one-dimensional object. You sometimes see pole, beam, or even wire sometimes as a rod. The mass is concentrated along a line. It has no thickness. If rigid, it will not bend. So rigid is an extra assumption that we could make here. So it might be represented in a diagram like this. If it has weight, then there'll be a point along here called the centre of mass, where we consider all of the weight of the object to be. So it's called a centre of mass, all the mass is considered here, and then when you apply gravity, that becomes weight. We might apply a force. We might have it lying on a beam. And if we do that, there would be a reaction where it's pressing down on the beam, so the beam is pressing back up. We might apply a force at this end. A laminar. An object with area but negligible thickness. So a rod is one-dimensional, a laminar is two-dimensional. Imagine a sheet of paper with no thickness. Mass is distributed across a flat surface, although once again we might consider the weight to act at a particular point. A uniform body. The mass is distributed evenly on a uniform body. So, if we have a uniform rod like this one here, the mass of the rod, or it might be a laminar, it might go off in 2 dimensions, can be concentrated at the centre of mass. If it's non-uniform, that centre of mass might not be in the centre. A light object. An object has mass which is negligible compared to the other objects in the system. So this often applies in pulley problems such as this. The object can be considered to have no mass. So in this case, that's often the pulley and the string. In the diagram, the string might be considered light compared to the pulley and the two masses, although very often the pulley is considered light as well, as I mentioned. This simplifies the modelling as the tension is the same at both ends of a light string and throughout the string. An inextensible string. An inextensible string is one which does not stretch when loaded. So this is actually unreasonable because all strings to some extent will stretch when a load is applied. The assumption that's made here then is the acceleration is the same for both objects connected by a light inextensible string. So if one of these is heavier than the other, let's say this one's heavier, it will start to accelerate downwards and this one will accelerate upwards. And the acceleration will be the same because the string is the same length and therefore the distance between the two objects is a constant. A smooth surface. There is no friction between a smooth surface and an object placed on it. So the only forces acting here would be its weight and the reaction force from the surface. If we apply a force, it will just accelerate this way, and F equals ma. If we have a rough surface, on the other hand, there is friction between a rough surface and an object placed on it. So in this case, we would have friction acting this way. And the resultant force here would be F take away Fr. So F minus Fr would be equal to ma. Smooth and light pulley. No friction because it's smooth. No mass, or at least negligible compared to the rest of the system. So no force is required to turn the pulley or for the rope to slide over the pulley. The tension in the rope is the same either side of the pulley. We looked at that one. So here we have a pulley system, and what we will be considering here is that the pulley is light compared to the two objects. So there's no friction here, there's no mass, and therefore no tension will be used up in turning the pulley itself. So the tension would be the same either side. A bead. A particle with a hole in it so that it can be threaded onto a string. Tension in the string is the same either side of the bead. So if we had a bead here threaded onto a string, then the tension in this string is the same as the tension in this string. A peg. A support from which a body can be suspended or rested. It's dimensionless and fixed, and they may be smooth or rough. So this is a peg here. We've got something like a ladder which is resting on horizontal ground and resting on this peg. There will be a normal reaction where the ladder makes contact with the peg. And there might be friction or not, depending on whether the peg is smooth or rough. Air resistance. Resistance experienced by an object as it moves through the air, and you only have to wave your hand in front of you to know that this is a real thing. Usually modelled as being negligible, at least in basic problems. There are various means for adding in air resistance at a later date. Gravity. The force of attraction between bodies, normally objects in our problems, and the Earth. Assume objects are attracted towards the Earth. Gravity is uniform, at least in basic problems, and acts vertically downwards. The acceleration due to gravity is normally taken to be 9.8 meters per second squared.